Jessie, the roughest, toughest cowgirl in the whole West.
Jessie is so leap before you look, act before you think.
She's got abandonment issues that run deep.
Her fear of being alone, she sees it in this child. It's like, I couldn't fix it for me, but maybe I can fix it for you.
They're basically little vampires. Like, they don't grow old.
No, they're gonna be forever.
And the beauty is letting life keep going.
Hello, and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is...
Alan Seawright. I'm a professional filmmaker who needs therapy, but I'm not as professional as these two folks.
Hi, I'm Andrew Stanton, director and co-writer.
And I'm Kenna Harris, and I am co-director and co-writer of Toy Story 5.
And here we are deep within, I won't say the bowels of Pixar anymore, because Alan chastised me for that before, but it feels bowely in here. It's warm.
It's bowl-like.
It's dark.
Bowl-like.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm
A little moist.
A little moist.
It can get like
Mostly
Wookiee in here.
warm and cozy.
We're going to be talking today about Toy Story 5, which is in theaters right now. We're recording this earlier. We are here inside of Pixar. It's a delight to be here talking about your film, which we got to preview half of this morning.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's a good half.
It's a good half.
We won't be spoiling the movie for you, but we'll be spoiling the movie for them.
Yes.
We've
It's personally-
sacrificed so much for you.
Oh.
So, we're going all the way back to Toy Story 2
Yeah.
Right.
and setting you up for Jessie's journey.
So I have been in the Justice for Jessie camp for a long time.
Yep.
It's a good
Jessie.
camp.
Love Jessie. Wanted to see more of her in 3 and 4.
There.
Wanted her to have more to do.
We did too.
And it's a heartbreaker.
You'll never lose me.
There's a lot of mouths to feed in the cast that just grows with each Toy Story movie,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we just needed time to get to her and do it proper.
Well, and Joan Cusack is such a treasure.
Yep.
Is. Working with her was the best. She just cracked us up at every single session.
Sure.
Such a great improviser.
This came from the smallest detail. I realized 2 things. We had never really revealed that she's a pull-string doll, and she is if you go back.
Sure.
And that you could hide an address behind her chaps.
Yeah.
And that just opened doors for us,
Yes.
story-wise.
All the time. Even
That's such a
when
great
I'm
transition there.
We're
Yeah, from one great love to another great love.
I'll still
We came up with this late. We
You mean it
needed a...
forever and ever and ever.
We come to this tree much later in the film in the area that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that little setup. And then just before an audience preview, we said we need Chekhov's tire swing on the front of this.
Yes.
and we put it up, and it's like the Nemo epiphany. It changed everything for the movie.
Now, Kenna, I understand you grew up on Toy Story 2.
Yes.
Wanted more Jessie.
I wanted more Jessie. I was really excited for girl playtime in this film. We've gotten into the previous films of how creative Bonnie is.
Sure.
But I was like, oh, I can't wait for us to just really unleash Bonnie and show off how weird girls can be
Yeah.
when they play. It's weddings, but it's also murders.
I was going to say.
Lots of murder.
I love that the way you get into playtime is a completely different art style.
Yes.
We
It's so much
really
fun.
we really get into the main objective is friendship and finding the right match.
This joke.
Sorry.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
So we needed playtime to be what it really is. It's like a play with flats that can just move at any moment and pivot like your daydreams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in real time.
And so we said, this is a different kid, a different headspace, and we need to find somebody that has the same kind of headspace.
Yeah.
What's going
Well,
on?
I
Just
am
the
the
texture
father.
of putting it in crayon and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Kid-like.
Yes.
Well, Alan and I are both fathers of dark and twisted little girls.
The best kind.
The best kind. Absolutely the best
Might be a
kind.
redundancy, but okay.
Fair.
I grew up with 2 brothers and 2 sisters across.
Still afraid to ask them.
Neighbors were 2 sisters, and
Not
our
this
play
time.
was so imaginative, and that was the drug for the first 5-6 years. Just going out and going,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe and Barbie were never G.I. Joe and Barbie. They were somebody
this,
else,
yeah.
and it was,
Yeah.
we'd go from 1 minute to a crashed airplane to a hair salon. It was a great mashup.
Well, I will say we later see a combat Carl like we never thought we would see one, which was a nice touch.
Yes.
Now, I'm looking here and I'm thinking, poor Bonnie. can't make friends or struggles to make friends. Struggles to, I mean, just get the ball rolling. Like, she would be an amazing friend if she could just get a foot in the door.
And she's quirky, and it's a little biased in Pixar because everybody here was this imaginative and weird.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel that was common. It's like if you didn't throw a ball or kick a ball, there was a lot of exclusion from playtime growing up.
I was very much like this. I think that you're so comfortable in like the vibrancy of your inner world, but then I would always struggle with like, how do I put the inside part of me outside and so people can see that more? And Bonnie's just trying to figure that out still.
Why won't anyone be my friend?
And that's the key line.
As a parent, that is absolutely gutting. The animators and your voice actress just destroy on that line.
Yes.
Yep, that was the line that we knew that's going to motivate the main character through the whole film.
Yeah.
Out of all the Toy Story movies, it's the most centric about the kids' development. We toyed for a while when 4 about making them.
It was so delayed.
We dabbled with the idea of Bonnie having to learn to read being an issue in 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just didn't take purchase. But this one, it's a direct issue. It's not like, oh, meanwhile Andy's moving. It's like, no, this girl won't move forward if toys and devices don't get involved.
Yeah. You say the main character. The main character to me is Jessie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Her loneliness, her abandonment, and her desire to connect and fear of being alone. And then she sees it in this child who she adores. And it's like, I couldn't fix it for me, but maybe I can fix it for you.
Yes.
And we got some leverage that we don't usually have because people know this series, because there's several movies. She's got abandonment issues that run deep that everybody witnessed and know are not only about being abandoned by her earliest owner, but she's had storage issues of being locked away in a dark place. So it's somebody we know a lot of trauma from that you don't usually get the advantage of, or you'd have to do all so much backstory, you'd waste 10 minutes of the movie.
I think it was a lucky surprise because we weren't thinking about it at the very beginning of the process, that internal struggle that Jessie has slots in so perfectly with how tech either exacerbates connection issues or improves connection issues and the weird gray line there. Yeah. At first we were like, well, all we know is that we know that Jessie has issues and we know that like tech has to be in the film, and organically through the process we suddenly figured out like, oh wait, these issues are talking to each other constantly.
Yeah. Because sometimes you watch movies and it's like, oh, it's like they made 2 different movies and they never quite came together. So like the gear shifting is abrupt. And here it's like you had these 2 different ideas and then they start to do this and it's perfect.
And finally it's perfect. For the first year and a half, it was exactly that.
It was not.
It was exactly that, and we were pushing and pushing.
This is the Pixar story department magic, right?
Yeah.
Is you don't get the green light to actually make the movie until you've done the work to make sure that it feels like the plot that is happening is directly involved with the story you want to tell.
Right. And a lot of times you don't know the story you want to tell until you get into it, and you've always got to be willing to completely, no matter how far you've gone down one pathway, changing the plot to service when you finally understand what the character and the story's about. Like, I just say, let's get this shitty first draft out first and just keep going. And like, how many drafts how quickly can we get to like the 9th or 10th draft? Because that's where we're going to really crack it.
Yeah.
Look, we all know health issues don't follow a 9-to-5 schedule.
But with ZocDoc, having no time to book an appointment is no longer a problem.
So, if you're busy playing with Bonnie all day,
Or your pull string comes loose late at night after the parents have said to put all the toys away,
or LilyPad looks up a new symptom that has you panicked,
you don't have to wait until Bonnie is out of the room to make an appointment. I mean...
You can go to ZocDoc anytime, 24/7, to find a doctor you love and make your health plan happen.
Even if it's way after bedtime.
ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality, in-network doctors so you can find someone you love.
It also doesn't have to be creepy. You can find doctors that are right for you, see their real-time availability, and click to instantly book.
No waiting around, no phone tag.
You can find in-network appointments with more than 150,000 healthcare providers across all 50 states.
You can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that's right for you.
ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking.
You can even score same-day appointments.
If I ever need to find a new doctor, I'm going to use ZocDoc to find and book great doctors near me.
Stop putting off all those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy to find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/cinematherapy.
This message is sponsored by ZocDoc. Well, an idea that you had that I really loved is the idea of technology spreading like a virus, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I think cues us up right into this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome to the pond.
You can take today to figure out how to use it, but then tomorrow we'll start having.
The way she like immediately stops.
She's lost.
Yeah.
This is such a great.
You can see we used, as scratch music, we used Vertigo, but what Randy's come up with is just as haunting.
Thing I was going to say, I'm so stoked to hear Randy's score over this.
But it does the same job.
Yeah, we would always call her Zombie Bonnie throughout pretty much all of the Act 2A onward sequences. You're dealing with Zombie Bonnie.
It took us a long time to figure out what kind of personality would a device like LilyPad be.
Time's over now.
And it wasn't, and we didn't want to go binary and make her evil.
Sure.
But we realized,
she has her own goals.
Every toy wants to be played with and do what's best for the kid, and so does she. But she's very different. She's like the next phase. She's like a helicopter parent or a high-powered assistant.
Yeah.
And like, how do we get you into Yale starting at age 8?
Right.
You know, that made so much sense.
Yeah.
Well, and we all understand the attention economy. We're working on it right now. But like the fact that everything she's doing is like, okay, how do I improve my kid and how do I keep attention here?
Sorry.
I like that
like
this is
perfect.
Toy Story 1, but not Toy Story 1. Like, it's not so on the nose that but it is a.
It is 2.0.
Yeah, but it is 2.0. It's on the bed.
I want to talk
Welcome
to
the scary toy.
It doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
It only took, I think you're allowed after 30 years to like go, okay, now it happens again for these toys. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
But it happens organically. Some callbacks feel like they're like wedged in there.
Yeah.
And this very much feels like what would be if I'd never seen Toy Story 1, this would still make sense.
It's logistical.
This is what would happen.
Friends with the Jordan twins.
Now in Spanish.
And the other thing is like, how competitive do we make them? And we're like, no, she doesn't even, there's no competition. She wins. She wins just for showing up.
Yeah, I think as advanced as LilyPad is, I personally have always liked thinking, and I think Greta added a lot of this to the performance, she's not emotionally nuanced, you know? I think she walks away from this interaction being like,
That was
I
great.
nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all best friends now. It's awesome. Because she's just so naturally superior.
But like so much AI and machines in movies, she has a directive and she follows it. So she just got a directive. Oh, we're trying to make friends?
Done.
For her, done. Let's do it. Here you go.
A group chat on the pond.
And of course, Jesse's threatened by how fast this happened, even though it's artificial.
Fun learning games. She can also socialize with other kids. That's
I want to go on the pond.
She's an outdoorsy girl.
Yes.
voila.
We get that brief shot of even Bullseye and Jesse are kind of drawn into the lure of it.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
sucked
Exactly.
in.
It's very Indiana Jones, like
Such a-
contemplating
It's
the
such
idol.
a Spielberg
It's
shot,
Oh,
man.
I know.
So good.
That totally makes sense. That came out of the psyche.
yeah, deliberate or not, it's in there.
Oh, it's in there.
With my help, eventually.
We're all
Bonnie
trying to
all of
not
her
be
developmental
Spielberg
goals.
while
I just
trying to
know
be
what's
Spielberg.
best for her.
I think I know more than a green calculator what's best for Bonnie.
Really?
Yeah, really. I got 3 kids.
I love
worth
this
to
joke
know.
right here.
Bonnie, before that Andy, and before that Emily.
I think that just means you're old.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Wow, really old.
Fine, we'll wrestle for her. Hi.
I love that Jesse is so, like, leap before you look
Yeah.
and act before you think.
Yeah.
And I think Woody in that situation would have been like, well, what? Let's talk things through.
Yeah.
And instead, Jesse's like, what if I punched you? Maybe that will help fix everything.
It's always fascinating. I've done enough sequels now where you've made a tertiary or a secondary character the main character, and you have to kind of retool them because they have too much heavy lifting to do. I remember Joe and I coming up with her personality fix when we came on to Toy Story 2, and he put it perfectly. He said, bipolar Ellie Mae. And I like that immediately, for those of you who know, Ellie Mae comes with Beverly Hillbillies.
Yep.
And that was her in a nutshell. And so
Yeah.
the trick was like, how do you get somebody that's that hot-headed and quick to respond to still do a good job of caring about the roam and running it, not like Woody, but at the responsibility level of
Yeah.
Woody.
Yeah.
And so that was part of it. It's like, have we gone too boring? Have we not set up things that allow her to be brash?
Yes.
And to take advantage, and so she's not just doing the Woody playbook, or even accidentally as
Yeah.
writers.
Well, and my read on her as a therapist is she is just fine and competent because of time and maturity and experience, as long as everything goes according to plan.
Yeah.
She's great at managing the day-to-day. She's got it nailed down, but here's this new element, and
Yeah.
suddenly she reverts back.
And where she's
Yes.
different than Woody, it's like she knows it's going to end. She's been through it. All she's already worrying about ahead of time is how is all the people that have trusted in me, these toys, how are they going to land?
Yeah.
So she's taken that responsibility and the anxiety of everybody else suffering really personal.
Because it all
Or
directly,
potentially suffering.
it'll become a judgment on her character.
Exactly.
It won't just be, well, change happens. It'll be, I failed the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was very important to me that she had a Keep It Sassy shirt.
Yo,
I needed her to
buddy.
have
What are you doing?
weird,
You said you finished packing.
girly isms.
But it's my very first sleepover, Dad. I want to be extra prepared.
You're gonna be fine, sweetie. Come on, go put on your shoes. We gotta go.
Okay.
It's a bold move to be actually choosing the T-shirt and putting it in the bag, but I think they're experienced enough to go, she'll never remember and she'll be glad that she picked this shirt.
Yes, we know her well enough.
We are going to check out these friends.
And this is actually not bad advice from Lily. We used to have her say a little bit more science
Not a good look for
be,
Bonnie to bring
behind
toys to a
the development of, the risk of showing toys.
Oh, yeah.
So that she wouldn't, but we felt that was enough. You were listening.
While we're away.
Yes, Sheriff. I'm on it.
All right, time to go.
Alan and I grew up, we were geeks far past our geek expiration date when all the other kids were into sports.
Yeah.
And so revealing that I was still into Ninja Turtles or Superman or stuff like that would be the kiss of death socially.
Yes.
And this is kind of like today's equivalent of that. You still play with toys?
Yeah, I feel like that was the big universal find that we got pretty quickly after the first draft was like, everybody has a little bit of scars from that moment where they felt like I was the last one to get the memo that we don't play with toys anymore.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a horrible marker for toys.
Yeah.
One that every toy's gone through, like every kid. You remember that day, that moment, that hour.
When your friends say toys aren't cool, leave them alone. It's like being a parent.
Oh, hey, Bonnie.
Don't play with your parents.
No.
You still hang out with your parents? Sorry, Alan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. Just the thought of how traumatic it would be for toys, that it's a trauma that every kid has. Every adult has this thing that they're carrying from childhood, and if it's the toys, it's got to be that much worse.
Yeah.
Which has always been the brilliance of Toy Story.
Exactly.
All you want to do is give your kid joy, and so if you gave them shame in some way,
you've done something against your purpose.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And that's to me the beauty of being able to go from the Andy years to the Bonnie years, is the way I think of it, not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Is there's so many other aspects of childhood that you just didn't have time to brush on, but now you grow up with another kid. We as storytellers can now lean into other moments that did happen in childhood with a toy.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, weird girl play.
You gotta love it. The moment where she goes all out and is like, I ain't afraid of nothing, when she quotes Jessie, that moment was in the movie for forever. We always had this, moment of embarrassment in front of these three girls, and suddenly you kind of hide it. You haven't watched it yet, but it becomes a pretty key signifier of why Blaze is ultimately maybe a match made in heaven for her. Because Blaze has a very similar instinct towards
So it's
Jessie.
nice and loaded.
It's very, very sweet, yes.
Yeah, and you have the guts to ask them to dance, basically.
Yes, because you see it's like, you're the same kind of girl weird as me. Yeah.
Well, and seeing Blaze's parents, I'm sitting here like, I don't know if Blaze is a nickname or the name given at birth, because it could go either way in that family.
I think it's her.
It's her name, and we
That's
also
cool.
something
Blaze.
fun is Daffodil, her horse, has this white stripe down her nose.
Yeah.
Those are called blazes on horses.
Yeah.
And so we felt like it was kind of a nice nod to the two of them being connected.
So this is kind of like a Sonny or Tim Burton movie, in that you have weird little freaky geeks who want to fit in the normal world and just can't quite bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Yes.
I say sunnier because it would be more goth if it were Tim Burton, but it's still the same theme that you see present in all those films.
Yeah.
Is that Bonnie wants to be loved and seen as accepted, like all of us, right? That's what I say about everybody. We want safety, love, and respect. That's all anybody wants. Mm-hmm. She's someone who would give that freely, so she anticipates that it would be given freely back.
Exactly.
Yes.
Except for with her friends, there's conditions.
Yes.
Yeah, and the minute you suffer from calling that wrong, you turtle or she hoodies, and you don't want to risk anything else. You're just going to play it safe from then on. You're just going to do whatever the others do.
Sure.
Yeah, and it takes some of us a lifetime to grow out of that and to push through that and to say, you know what, like I'm going to be authentically me. I'm going to face the rejection of being authentically me because it will happen, but I will also find my people. You were talking about how Pixar's full of Bonnies.
Yep.
You know, and everyone here found their tribe, found their people, and I always say on our show, being authentic and being genuine, you do run the risk of being rejected. But what that says is everything about the rejecter and nothing about you. It's nothing about your worth or your value. It's about what the person in front of you, their limits, their biases, their prejudices. And it's such a hard lesson to learn as a child.
Yeah, because a lot of times your environment doesn't really give you other options until you move on. And so it can get better, but sometimes it takes a while.
Get Bullseye, get out. Get Bullseye, get out.
Hey. This is the first sequence that we got all the way through production.
Really?
Yeah, but it's become one of my favorite sequences because it just really has, again, it scratches an area that we never got to deal with toys that is so real, is the ones that just get put away in a drawer.
Yeah.
With all those batteries and those little accessories that we just never use again, especially if you grew up in the 90s into the 2000s where technology just kept changing.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
You'd get a thing and in 6 months it was...
And that's what we really leaned into for Smarty Pants and Atlas and Snappy was their millennial toys, like the first generation of digital devices that were very limited. But you can still tell the difference between, so there's a big chasm between Lily and them, but they're still of that ilk. And finding out that their shelf life later was so short.
Yeah.
That they have such love and reverence, and you assume the same running time, if not greater, than Jesse.
No! Yes! No, I'm not doing this now. I'm not. Yes! Cut it out! Snappy!
He's so intense when she gets his batteries changed.
He's kind of the best. It's like Conan at a 10, which is actually 100 for most people, is Smarty.
It was one of those match made in heaven. All we could think of was Conan, and thank goodness he said yes.
It was... The second I heard the voice, I was just like, this is going to be a good character.
He's in a fantasy playtime later that gets his full Conan on.
Nice little bit of coming up here. Prejudice challenging here on Jesse's part. Because she's got all these assumptions about them.
Yes, you clocked that.
Yeah.
That's great.
She's got all these assumptions about them and that they're
We've been down a long time.
not like her and not like her friends.
Yes.
And like,
Yeah.
they don't have, not humanity, they don't have toyanity. They're not really toys. And then she sees, and now look.
Wait a minute, where is
this moment? Yeah.
Zoom in. That's me in a pocket. Flush, you both
And she gets caught up in it.
Well, and how much they love their kid.
Yeah.
The last of it.
Next, it was just a spinning rainbow.
How can you not root for them a little bit?
Yeah, she knows exactly how that feels.
It's like they pierced through her armor.
Okay.
Which also is a good guidebook for adults, like no matter who you meet of race, religion, gender, sexuality,
This is pushy.
people love their families.
Yep.
You know?
Just go with it.
And
Blaze has her horse, Bonsai.
Bullseye! And I gotta get us back
Almost-
to our kid Bonnie now.
Almost anybody you meet, you can be like, tell me about the people you care about, and instant connection.
Yes.
I'll tell ya. Drum roll, please. He's
I love his tippy tappies there.
in the bedroom.
Probably in the bedroom. I could have guessed that.
And yet you did not, Dusty.
Dusty?
Yeah, you know, ancient, elderly, mummified old fart, or as I like to call it, number 1.5. I missed you, Smarty.
You know what? I got enough of your crap.
Oh, wait!
I was so into the movie that I didn't clock that as Conan O'Brien, and now I cannot not hear it.
The three of us link up. We could.
No, I am done.
The fact that you gave Conan O'Brien the opportunity to do poo-poo and pee-pee jokes
Back
is...
on my own.
It's so funny because I remember in year one reading the pages that Andrew wrote. And it has, I think the very first fart joke in the movie was this 1.5. And I remember thinking, like, am I ready to reckon with how much potty humor is going to be in this film? And now looking at it, I'm like, of course, it all feels so natural and wonderful.
It's all in context. Seeing the device, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and you've managed to thread that needle carefully. Like, it can easily be too much.
Speaking of which,
easily.
It's tasteful poo-poo.
well, this is my
Tasteful
favorite
poo-poo and
tasteful
pee-pee
poo-poo joke in the whole, this right here. Hey.
Yes.
Is she here yet?
Not yet. Why don't you try messaging her?
She did it without me.
To me, that's like a parent going to college going,
It is.
they did their own laundry.
Like, you managed to get an emotional beat out of she did a poo-poo.
Yep.
She even washed
Damn
her
you,
hands.
Pixar.
Also, what college kids do you know that are doing their own laundry? That's impressive.
Well, that's why it would be that impressive if they did.
I guess that's true. It's not they did their own laundry. It's that they didn't They did it somewhere other than my house.
Exactly.
You know?
Your Blaze ain't the kid you remember anymore.
How would you know?
I love that. It's the same house and the same
All this before. Spent a lot of years under the bed watching my first kid grow up without me.
Hey, that's our address.
How old is Blaze anyway? 9, 10, Haroon looks like a teenager.
He does like the one thing he can do.
Yeah.
And he does it well.
Yeah.
Changed so fast. I gotta get back. So where?
Just so you know, there's 50 horses up there.
Goodness!
Excellent.
You do the math. With 50 Buzz Lightyears.
Oh my gosh! Come on!
Everybody will know by the time we see this.
No. You.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Damn it.
I want to watch the rest of the movie.
It's pretty cute.
That was the best spoiler that's ever been handed to me. I'm not even mad about it. I'm just enticed. I, for one, am excited to see how this resolves. A lot of you watching this today have already seen the film. If you haven't, it's in theaters right now. But at this moment, we watched the first 45 minutes, and the thing that really stuck with me is we did an episode on Buzz and Woody, on their friendship. And we got to Toy Story 4, and Alan made a point, and he said, I like Toy Story 4. I think it's a great movie. Toy Story 3 was such a perfect ending. I just take issue. He says, the only way they can resolve it for me is if they make a 5. Is what he said on camera.
What I will tell you is that when the minute we came up with 3, putting into college, my brain split and I went, oh my gosh, we can keep going with different kids.
Forever.
So we'll have the Andy years. So there is a trilogy. And it did end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't look at the numbers. I go, now it's the Bonnie years. And we will finish Bonnie. And then there will be some other kid. And then it's like, to me, that's being honest with what this world can allow, because it embraces time. They're basically little vampires. Like, they don't grow old.
No, they're going to be forever.
And but life, what's the beauty is letting life keep going.
Yes.
I would love it if someday, if I, fortunate that you can just go watch the Bonnie movies.
Yeah, sure.
And then go back, and if you want to go farther, you can watch the Andy movies and whoever.
Well, and I will say, watching this now, it feels much more like that. When it was Toy Stories 1 through 3 and then 4, it kind of felt like...
But there's no way around having it.
Right, you have to
gotta,
make the
you gotta
movie.
go.
It's
It's like adolescence or something. You got to go through it.
No,
to
absolutely.
get to the next trilogy.
But what I'm saying is, whether on camera or off, I don't care. I think you're going to find a very warm reception to this because it's about something.
And it's honestly, both of films were honestly pursued. They were not cash grabs, although you could fall into that trap. People forget we made our third movie was a sequel in our entire history.
Well, and that was the opposite of a cash grab. That was desperation, trying to, like, we care about these characters so much that we have to protect
But if I'm
them.
being honest, we business-wise had to do it.
Oh, sure.
They live together, but we sat there and go, we just want to be, all we ever want to be in the movies, not that you can control this, is be in that club when after all this is said and done, and maybe you're not even around anymore, somebody wants to show your movie to their kid, to their grandkid. Like, I'm a beneficiary of seeing Bambi and Snow White, because my parents weren't even alive when Bambi and Snow White came out.
Right.
But they knew I had to see it, and that's changed the trajectory of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
All you can hope is to be in that club, that you've made a movie that's worthy, that'll happen somewhere down the line. That's the only way. I always say we're not in it for the kids. We're in it for the grandkids.
Yeah.
We're playing long ball.
Yeah. Well, and that was my experience watching this in the theater today. Within the first few minutes, the themes came right to the surface, and it was very clear who the story is centered on, what it is they want, and the emotion that we all connect with.
Yeah.
And then secondarily is a pretty smart critique on screen life balance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to bring those two together in a way that at the 45-minute mark, when the lights went black, all three of us went, oh.
I just wanted to, for both of you, just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, these are characters I grew up with.
Yeah.
And, like, to see them being looked after so well and to get to experience new stories, that's why we're here.
Hashtag crying with Alan.
Aww.
That's why we do them.
That's why we do them. That's why Jono and I do what we do. That's why we're talking to you, and that's why you're watching, right? We want that feeling. We want to be able to go through an emotional journey with these characters, these silly digital plastic toys that are so much part of our lives.
That's how amazing and effective movies can be. It's like, you feel like that even once, you will sit through a year of bad movies just to get that moment again.
For the real junkies among us, we're always chasing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Toy Story 2 defined that for me because it was the first movie that I remember seeing in a theater.
Yeah.
And there was two distinct moments. So there's one moment where Woody backs into the cardboard cutout of himself.
Yeah.
And it's a very particular part of Randy Newman's score that starts swelling at that moment. And I knew very distinctly, I was like, whatever this big feeling is inside of me right now, like the awe of discovery is like, I want to keep feeling that forever. Like, how do I keep chasing that? Thus, the film junkie thing. And then I would draw Jessie in the window over and over again, and I would put her, and I'd draw the office chair that like Woody uses to hop up to the window, because up until that point, I think I had an emotional reaction to that scene as a kid that I knew, again, similarly, I was like, that's what I want from my stories all the time, is to see a character feeling things that I think I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure it out for myself.
Who knew you were destined to give Jessie closure?
That's so
cool.
crazy.
So cool.
Oh, weird.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's a real legacy, and it's a delight to talk with you both. Pixar's in good hands. We're looking forward to many adventures to come. And honestly, I do want to see the different iterations of Toy Story. Like I'm on, especially now that I'm halfway through this one, I'm fully on board with the eras.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
You can be Team Andy all you want.
No, I'm not saying this to bullshit you. I like Bonnie more than Andy. It's because I'm a girl dad.
Hashtag girl dads.
Yeah.
Yes.
So until next time.
Come on down to Al's Toy Barn.
So play nice.
Are they gone now? Good. Oh.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell. And
Watch movies!